All right, I told you last week that we're going to start a kind of a little bit of a series during the offering here. I just feel that this is an important thing that we need to understand, and what we're going to be talking about is how to overcome a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. How do we overcome that? How do we get out of that cycle? And the one thing I wanted to give you some statistics, anyhow, give you some perspective of how many people are doing this, living paycheck to paycheck. There's studies that it can be up to as high as 80% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. Now, I'm not talking about retired folks that are on a fixed income or people that are on Social Security or whatever, things like that. I'm talking about workers that get a paycheck and a W-2, or they're self-employed and they, fill out a Schedule C, or, if you're self-employed, you understand those terms, or, you get 1099s and you fill out Schedule Cs in your tax return and all that. Still, people are living, paycheck to paycheck. Even if those that are self-employed, they're living, for the next job. They're like, I got to get this job done because I need to get the next one started so I can get a deposit, or I can get some money from the next customer because I need to pay the bills, And so this lifestyle, this cycle of pressure and of, just bondage that living paycheck to paycheck can do to us. And I wanted to encourage us that we can come out of that we don't have to live that way. That Jesus, the Word of God, that the Lord has declared that He wants His people free. He wants His people not to be bound financially, not to be bound in any way, but we're talking about finances here in our offering time. 40% of people could not cover a $400 bill, a $400 emergency, like they had to go to the emergency room or had an unexpected car repair or an appliance breakdown and they had to pay $400 for that. They could not pay that with cash, or even pay it with a credit card and then pay that card off quickly. Most people cannot do that. They have no savings, they have no emergency fund, they have none of that. And that's not God. You know what I mean? That's bondage. That's literally from the pit of hell. That's Satan's working the system that he has created, this financial system that Satan has manipulated and worked on so tirelessly to make it so that it's a point of bondage. If we're in debt, if we're using credit cards and that kind of stuff, it's a cycle of late fees and penalties and interest and, just on and on and on with all these little things. They're just like, a death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's what the system wants to do. It doesn't want to just kill you outright because you would resist that. You would say, oh no, I'm not going to do that. Well, what do we do when we go to buy a major appliance or a car or something? What do we want to first know? Most people want to know the payment. What's it going to cost me per month? That is a mentality of paycheck to paycheck. What can my paycheck cover to pay this bill? What we need to get into is, Lord, what can I put down on this? What's the, a big lump that I can put on this, or even pay it, even purchase it cash? No, that didn't come out right at all. Words not working this morning, are they? We had that conversation right before church. Anyhow, it's carrying on. We get into this mentality of living paycheck to paycheck. So let's go to Proverbs 24, verse 27. I'm going to turn there in my New King James. It's right after Psalms. Proverbs 24, verse 27. So I just want to give us the one thing that we can. What about this? How do we get out of this cycle? And we're going to do this week after week after week for I don't know how long. Literally, this could take 12 weeks. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's so many aspects, so many facets to this that I can only give you so much in 10 minutes here during offering time, or keep it short and simple. Verse 27, it says, prepare your outside work, make it fit for yourself in the field, and afterwards build your house. I like how the New Living Translate says this, a little more modern understanding the way we live today. It says, develop your business first, after build your house. And here's the problem is that this lifestyle of paycheck to paycheck, we get so busy about the stuff. What can my pay buy me? Stuff. So we're worried about our house. We're worried about what we wear. We're worried about the jewelry we have. We're worried about the car we drive because we want to have good appearance to other people like we've got it all together. And we're so worried about that we're not focusing on how do I spend my money? How do I make my money? How do I get control of my money? So we got to take care of our business first, then we can worry about the house. Then we can worry about how things look and what we have and what we don't have. This mentality or this the best way I can describe it is in our title for this series is how to overcome a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, because that's what it is. Those words are very specific and very telling of what a paycheck to paycheck mentality, a paycheck to paycheck bondage is. It is literally a lifestyle. It's how we get into the way we live. I just gave you one example there. When we go to buy something major, what do we ask? How much? What's the monthly payment? We're not asking what's the total so I can, pay it all off, pay it all one time, or that maybe I can put a big lump down and then I can pay the rest off quickly. We're more worried about, can my paycheck handle that? Another way that we do that is that how do I say this, Lord? I'm not coming up with the way I want to say it, so I'm just going to move on. All right. So that's the first, not the first, but the thing I want to encourage you with is that getting out of this lifestyle of paycheck to paycheck. Last week we talked about who's our source. God's our source. He's the one that's going to give us seed to sow so that we can have a harvest to reap the things that we have need of. And that's the system that God set up for us to have our needs provided, to live our life by. Not a lifestyle of, barely making it and worrying about how our paycheck's going to cover it. But we need to get a lifestyle of God's my provider. He'll give me seed to sow. As long as I'm obedient to sow it where He tells me to go, I know I can get a harvest and I can have what I need to meet my needs.